What's up, y'all? In this video, we will be going over fair value gaps, right? Fair value gaps are three candle formation where you expect price to push and trade into, and you expect price to react out of it, right? Fair value gaps are used to place your entries, determine the bias, mark out key levels. You know, it's just used to trade. A fair value gap is this first candle and a third candle's wicks that are separated and not touching, right? How do you find the first and third candle's wicks? Since it is a three candle formation, you will take three candles. Use the first one as just like a space, right? Take the first candle low and the third candle's high. Draw them out. And if they don't connect and leave this space, that is a fair value gap. Just like in this example here. You're coming up, you take this first candle's high, this third candle's low, draw out your space, you have a fair value gap. Now, what do you mean draw out your space? All right, you take the first candle's high, and you skip this candle in the middle, and you take it to this third candle's low. If you end up with a box, you have a fair value gap. Now, here on the left, I have some examples for you guys. You will take a three candle formation. You pick three candles, 1, 2, 3. You mark out the first candle's high and the third candle's low. Boom, boom. And if you see that space in between, you want to draw it out as a fair value gap. Price is going to do this. It's going to draw and price is going to trade to that fair value gap. And what do you expect whenever price trades into a fair value gap? You expect a reaction out of it. So if price is moving in a bullish trend and price pulls back to this fair value gap, what's next? A reaction out of it, right? Now, with that being said, that goes the same for if price is coming down. If price is coming down and we end up pushing up into this fair value gap, expect a reaction out of it. All right, so if you're bullish, you want to look for bullish fair value gaps to continue higher. If you're bearish, you want to look for bearish fair value gaps to continue lower. You want to use fair value gaps in a trend, right? When price is pulling down and pulls back, you want to look for a fair value gap for price to react to continue the downtrend, just like in this case right here. In the uptrend, you want to look for bullish fair value gaps. Bullish fair value gaps go from the first candle's high to the third candle's low. Bearish fair value gaps go from the first candle's low to the third candle's high, right? So that is how you want to use these fair value gaps. You want to draw them out and you want to see price react and keep the trend going. If we come down here, we're going to find a trend right here. We're already seeing a downtrend. Let's see how many times we've reacted out of a fair value gap to continue higher. I meant lower. So we have this first, we have a fair value gap here, right? Now, in this area, you have this first candle's low to this third candle's high. Drag it over, fair value gap. Now, if you guys draw out your first candle's low and draw out your third candle's high, this is not a fair value gap. Even if you end up doing this, that's not a fair value gap. A fair value gap is where the first and third candle do not touch. This first candle is overlapping this third candle's high, right? Just think of the middle kind of like the median. It's the barrier, right? If this was not here, would these two candles be touching? Yes, they would. If you take out this middle one, these two candles would not be touching, right? So boom, price touched that fair value gap, reaction. What do we do here? We have fair value gap up here. First and third candle. Price never came back to it. You have one here. First candle's low, third candle's high. Price reacts out of it. First candle's low, third candle's high. Price reacts out of it. And it just continuously does this to continue trend. First candle's low, third candle's high. Price reacts out of it. It's very, very simple. In the downtrend, that's what you want to see. Now we're going to look for an uptrend and see if we can find some good fair value gaps, right? Here in this case, you come down here. First candle's high, third candle's low. Bullish fair value gap, right? Price end up reacting out of it, pushes up. First candle's high, third candle's low. Bullish fair value gap. First candle's high, third candle's low. Bullish fair value gaps. And if you guys are asking yourself, well, why am I not marking out all these fair value gaps? Is because you want to pay attention to the ones that price is reacting out of. Well, how do I know when price is going to react out of them? You don't. In trading, as price is actively moving, you want to watch what that candle is doing to know if you're going to get a rejection or not. As price came into here, we came here and we started wicking up. If I was live trading, your real entry probably would be somewhere right around there. It's not going to be, you're not going to know exactly what fair value gaps are going to work, but you're going to know the trend, and you're going to know that bullish fair value gaps are into play here. You're going to look for your entry, and you're going to target liquidity moving out of these fair value gaps, right? You're going to target liquidity. Now, if you come here, you have this fair value gap, this first candle's high to this third candle's low. Drag it over. It holds. It holds with ease, right? And what do you mean it's holding? Price is going way past it. Price is not closing past it. If it is a wick, but it's not closed past the fair value gap, it held, right? And price can close inside the fair value gap, just like here. It closed inside, but it did not close past it. It still held. Now, when you're looking at candles that are inversing fair value gaps, such as situations like this right here, right? You have a bullish fair value gap from this first candle's high to this third candle's low. You have a bullish fair value gap. What happened? Price closed below it. You can use that to determine your bias. If you see on a higher time frame, price had a clean gap and it closed below it, expect price to continue lower. And if price trades back to it, you use that as well. You can use inverse fair value gaps as levels that will hold, right? They can be used for levels to hold. I don't like that color. It's really bothering me. Okay, that's better. All right. Here, we created a fair value gap coming back up into these fair value gaps. It was bullish. Price could want to hold it, continue higher. Did it hold? No. It inversed. Now we expect price to continue lower. What happens? Price pulls back to that inverse. You can use these as levels to hold, right? This means the fair value gap was disrespected. When price reacts out of fair value gaps and moves in the continuous direction, it's respecting. When price does not respect the fair value gaps and closes below it and continue in the opposite of the fair value gap that was made, it is disrespected. So this is an inverse fair value gap, and this is just a regular fair value gap. All right, look at all these scenarios. Inverse, we had this bullish fair value gap that looked like it was gonna hold, and it ended up getting inversed. What happened? Price ended up inversing it and just started dumping. Pulls all the way back to this 15-minute fair value gap, overlapping inside of the inverse. If we touch it, immediately dump. Inverses can be used anytime. They can be used just like regular fair value gaps for price to react out of. They can be used for bias, and they can be used for an entry. Right? They're just as good, just like here in this case. Oh my God, excuse me. I did not mean for that to happen. Here in this case, you have this fair value gap that's bearish, right? If you zoom in hard enough, we closed above this bearish fair value gap, meaning we inversed it. What happened? We started shooting up, overlapping inside of this bullish fair value gap. What happens? We react beautifully. Just beautiful reactions all around, right? And then we finally get to the top up here. Don't form anything. We just slowly move downwards, right? If we're in a downtrend, we want to see bearish fair value gaps hold. Well, we had this bearish fair value gap here. First candle's high, first candle's low, third candle's high. Market out, price hits it, reacts, leaves behind another fair value gap to continue the trend. First candle's low, third candle's high. We inversed it. What happens? Price continues higher, right? Continues higher. You catch your trade from there, whatever. Price is not coming down some more. And what do we know? We end up holding this random fair value gap right here. Fair value gaps are everywhere, chat. They're everywhere, right? I'm not saying you can just use any fair value gap, they're all gonna work. I'm pretty sure if I go here in replay mode and go to a higher time frame, this is just one, this whole area is just one gap. Right? Go to the 1 hour. What do I tell you? This whole thing is just one massive gap that's holding. Gaps can be broken down on time frames, guys. If I go to the 4 hour, this is probably just one massive fair value gap. What did I say? It's just broken down to get more precise entries. And what do we know here? Have this bullish fair value gap that's inversed. Okay, I'm on the charts today around nighttime, 10 p.m. I want to see price continue lower since we inverse this fair value gap. What happens? We just start coming down. You can break down price and understand where it's going to go based on fair value gaps. Right? Now, I've went over fair value gaps and inverse fair value gaps. In the next video, I'll be going over time, right? How to use time frames and break them down with fair value gaps and determine your bias. You're going to learn how to get on the chart and understand where price is going to go with just liquidity and fair value gaps.